You may not know how inflation comes from. Why are some countries very rich and others poor? But I think you must want to know when to buy a house. Should I save money or invest when the economy is in recession? I'll teach you a little bit about economics and you can make good choices at critical moments in your life. The book I want to share with you is How an Economy Grows and Why It Crashes. The author described the economic life of a small island in witty and interesting language. Once upon a time, there were three men, Abel, Baker, and Charlie, who lived alone on an island. Far from a tropical paradise, the island was a rough place with no luxuries. In particular, food options were extremely limited. The menu consisted of just one item, fish. However, the best these guys could do was jump in and grab the slimy buggers by hand. Each could catch one fish per day, which was just enough to survive to the next day. This activity amounted to the sum total of their island economy. Wake, fish, eat, sleep. One night, looking up the star-studded sky, Abel began pondering the meaning of his life. He'd love to make some better, more fashion-forward palm leaf clothing. He wanted a place to shelter himself from monsoons, and ultimately, of course, he wanted to direct feature films. But with his daily toil so devoted to fishing, how could these dreams ever come true? His mental wheels started turning, and suddenly an idea for a fish catcher was born. The next day, Baker and Charlie noticed that Abel wasn't fishing. Instead, he was standing in the sand, making string out of the palm bark. "What gives?" asked Baker. "Are you on a diet or something? If you keep sitting there tying those strings, you're gonna go hungry." Abel explained, "I've been inspired to create a device that'll unlock oceans of fishing possibilities. When I'm finished, I'll spend less time fishing and I'll never go hungry again." Charlie rolled his eyes and wondered if his friend had just lost his mind. The next day, Baker and Charlie made much sport of Abel's invention. "Hey, that's quite a nice-looking hat," said Baker. "A little hot for tennis, don't you think?" added Charlie. "Laugh it up, boys," responded Abel. "But let's see who's laughing when I'm up to my armpits in fish guts." As Abel charged into the surf, the ridicule kept coming as he awkwardly handled his strange new device. After a few minutes, he got the hang of it and in no time, snagged the doozy. Baker and Charlie stopped laughing. When in just another hour, Abel landed his second fish of the day, the boys were in awe. After all, it generally took them all day to get just one fish. In a simple task, Abel is demonstrating a basic economic principle that can lead to an improvement in living standards. He is under-consuming and he is taking risk. Underconsumption. In order to build his net, Abel is unable to fish that day. He has to forego the income, which is the fish, that he would have otherwise caught and eaten. Abel has no more or less demand for fish than his two friends, but he is choosing to defer that consumption in order to potentially consume more in the future. Risk-taking. Abel is also taking risks because he has no idea that his device will actually work or allow him to catch enough fish to compensate for his sacrifice. In the end, he might just have a bunch of strings and an empty stomach. In economic terms, capital is a piece of equipment that is built and used not for its own sake, but for building or making something else that is wanted. Abel doesn't want the net, he wants the fish. The net can maybe get him more fish. Therefore, the net, a piece of capital, is valuable.